Good morning, people. It's Saturday morning. We have a beautiful sunrise. Looking much better today than it did last weekend. If you remember, I posted a video on Saturday, Sunday about my raw and unfiltered experience with cleaning the snow that had fallen. And there was still more to come, even though it didn't pan out to be too much more. But the worst thing on Saturday was the southeast winds creating all these drifts in the driveway. And so we had drifts that were at least a foot and a half. So I had to use my tractor. And like I said, I published a video. You can look at that, raw and unfiltered. So that was last weekend. Then we were promised to have a nice sunny week, which turned out not to be true. So we woke up on Tuesday finding that we were expecting more snow, a lot more than they anticipated, 5 to 10 in one evening, and then throughout Wednesday more snow, and then Wednesday evening another 5 to 10. So on Thursday morning when I woke up, indeed we had lots of snow fallen, at least 10 to 15 centimeters. And again, I had to clean my driveway and my parking area here, and you can see the big piles, how high they're getting. Like, it's really amazing. When on Thursday morning my daughter had to go to work, so I ended up having to get out at 7:15 to clean our driveway. And so there was more scheduled for that day, that after her work in the afternoon we had to bring her to Saskatoon to have her attend a conference for a couple of days. And I actually have to go this afternoon again to pick her up. But I had to clean quite a bit of snow, and so by 8 o'clock I was ready to take her to work, and they had basically canceled for the day. So the morning was done and I could continue cleaning. We have a couple of projects. My son is working on this truck over here. We have to clean out the area around it, and then hopefully he has time when it is a little bit better weather to take out the engine, because he sold the engine. So yeah, I kept on cleaning the whole morning, all around the barn, around the chicken coop and turkey coop, and make sure that we have access to our shit pile here in the back. So yeah, that was what I was working on. So typically we have the girls come out early in the morning around 6 to 6:30, 6:45, to feed the animals, the cows and the pigs. And so then around 7:30 to 8 o'clock we have my son come out, and then he normally fills the water for the cows and pigs. So nothing was going on at that time, and so that's something that was normal. Now normally, of course, after I do the morning prayers, I come outside at around 8:15, and then I feed the chickens, give them fresh water. Turkeys are fed, and then I go to the cow barn to give them additional hay, because what they give in the morning at 6:30 is already gone by the time I come at around 8:15, and so I have to fill up the hay and give them fresh food. And so also the kuni pigs get their hay, and yeah, that's part of my morning chores. So let's go inside. So here we are in the barn, and you can see I just fed them in half an hour ago, and you can see the cows are enjoying all the hay in their hay feeder. So here is Benson. Hello there, Benson. Good morning. And then here we have Tongs and Nancy. So later that morning, I had to continue cleaning snow, and so I didn't go in here at my usual time of about 8:15 to feed the pigs and the cows. And so Nancy and Tongs were not getting their particular food at around 8:15. And so I went around 10 o'clock into the house and I asked if they could please be so kind to go and feed them. So around 10:30, 10 to 10:30, we had my daughter come out and feed the pigs. So nothing was out of the ordinary. We didn't see anything happening. But at 1 o'clock, we basically were seeing the unthinkable happen. Last couple of months, month and a half, Nancy was getting overly big, and we were wondering if she maybe was pregnant, if she was expecting. We weren't sure because we'd never had pigs until last year we started with these kunis, and so we had no idea whether or not she could be pregnant or not. Now, she was a very young animal when we got her, I think about 7 to 8 months, and they said maturity is around 12 months. So we were supposed to separate Nancy and Tonks from Benson basically late August, early September. But as you may recall, in August we had quite the drama for 2 weeks with our milk cow Lavender, who ended up dying and had to be put down because of her cancer. So quite tragic, not really happy with that. So we didn't end up separating these two from Benson, and we thought, well, they're young yet, what could happen? So September rolled around and I was working on finishing off the granary when the whole family got sick, and I decided to continue working on my wood shop and do the roof. And so you may recall from the video there that I went on the roof all myself, took all that off, got that roof prepared and shingled it. And at that time, of course, our neighbor also came around and he said, well, let's build my son's garage, workshop. So I also posted videos of that recently, of how that project all went about. And yeah, October came around, and then it was basically the decision, let's just leave these two here until we can get these areas here in the barn ready for them for the winter time. And so we separated them, put them in the barn. We have the girls here on this side, and of course we have Benson on the other side. So you can see Benson has its own. So they've been separated because, you know, they say you shouldn't get piglets in the middle of winter. It's never good to have that. So, like I said, this last Thursday at around 1 o'clock, my son came to give them fresh water because the barn is still a good 10 to 15 degrees frost in here, even though outside it may be minus 30. Here inside it is a little bit warmer because these animals give off heat. But there's no real heating in the barn. And so, unfortunately, he discovered the remnants of an afterbirth, and he started looking around and he found one piglet after another. So they were cold to the touch. They weren't frozen, but they were cold to the touch. And so we rushed them inside, we put them all on their heat lamp, and when all was said and done, we had 8 piglets in the house. None of them showed any signs of life. Some websites say that, you know, little piglets like that could go into hypothermia and basically can be heated up afterwards and come back to life. But we had the heat lamps on the little piglets for a good 5-6 hours and nothing happened. So the unthinkable happened is that Nancy was pregnant. She did give birth to 8 piglets. They were scattered throughout this area here with Tonks and her in here, but unfortunately all of them died from hypothermia. So it's a tragic event for our Thursday, a big loss for our farm. Quite out of the ordinary. All 8 piglets were females. So most of them, of course, we would have sold, and we may have kept maybe 1 or 2. But yeah, what did happen is that probably in the beginning of October, when they should have already been separated, Nancy got pregnant by Benson, and it resulted in the live birth of 8 healthy female piglets that all unfortunately succumbed to the cold here in Saskatchewan. So yeah, we're quite shocked. It was quite a sad development here on our farm, on our homestead, because this is definitely what we didn't want. We could have taken them in the house and probably bottle fed them for the time being. But yeah, this is the sad reality here in cold Saskatchewan, is that you can't really have piglets in the middle of winter. And with our inexperience with piglets and pigs, and of course seeing this sow here giving birth, we just missed it, which is really unusual, really strange, because there were no sounds, there were no noises that she was in labor. There was no indication at 6:30, there was no indication at 7:30 to 8 o'clock, and there was no indication from 10 to 10:30 that she was going into labor. And so this small window, probably between 10:30, quarter to 11, and 1 o'clock or so, resulted in her giving birth and all of them dying. And had she just given birth a little bit earlier, around 10, and we would have seen it, we were here, we could have saved them. And yeah, it is really sad. We were really shocked, and it really saddens us still to this day. We now have them in a box, frozen in the garage, because we can't bury them right now, because the ground, of course, is covered with more than a feet of snow, and underneath that is, of course, solid frozen rock, hard soil. So we'll have to wait to the spring for them to be buried. So yeah, technically Tonks and Nancy were supposed to be scheduled later this month, early next month, to go in with Benson to see if they can get pregnant. Nancy now will have to wait basically till the end of March. They say you have to wait at least 4 to 6 months. Our vet did his assessment, and he said, as long as she is healthy and she's eating and drinking, her teats will dry up, and she won't be giving any milk, and she can get back to rotation to get pregnant again in 4 to 6 weeks. So yeah, probably by the end of March, early of April. And we got to basically do that at that time, because the piglets need to be born in about 3 months, 3 weeks and 3 days. So let's say 4 months. Well, April, May, June and July, then the piglets would be born at the end of July. That really is probably the latest you want to have piglets. You don't want to have them too late, because then we sit at end of October, winter can come back again, and you sit again with small animals and a harsh winter. So we'll see in about 6 weeks what we can do. It's a sad development. We're still in shock. We're still in awe that this actually happened to us after losing Lavender in August, after losing a good 10 to 15 chickens over the period of 3 to 4 months, then losing one of the turkeys. We now have this shocking experience. So I'm not going to show you the dead piglets. I'm not going to show you any of that, because it's just sad enough as it is, and it shouldn't have happened, and we're really saddened that this happened. And so we're going to have our lessons learned, that after May, starting basically June, Benson can no longer be with the girls. They are mature, they are capable of creating offspring now, so we're going to have to make sure they're separated from then on, and that they don't cause any more problems. In the meantime, we still hope, of course, that Daisy is expecting after she visited Bruno in September. We'll have to wait and see. That will be one of the things we're gonna get tested soon. Have the vet come out. Here's the stanchion I was building. Still haven't been able to get to it. Next 2 weeks is still again brutally cold. This coming week, minus 36 Celsius at night, minus 25 Celsius during the day. It's just insanely cold for the next 2 weeks. And yeah, hopefully if I can muster it up, I can back to work on this and get the practice with Daisy. And of course we also have little Andrew here, who still needs to be dehorned because the horns are quite devastating on a big bull, and we'd like to keep Andrew as a bull. We're trying to harness train him and make sure that he stays pretty calm with us. But bulls can never be trusted, so you do have to watch for what happens with that. But that's for later. We still have some time, and we'll get Daisy tested and we'll get him prepared for life without horns. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this video here. Like I said, the unthinkable, no miracles here on our homestead. So we thank you for watching. We thank you for your continued support. And we hope that the next videos will be more of positive nature than this one has been. So again, we'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.